the D loop, one of the simplest things in archery to do that nobody really knows how to do unless they're working behind a bow counter. Step one, have your bow in some kind of vise that's going to hold it steady while you tie on the loop. This is the October Mountain Micro Tune vise. It is my #1 recommended bow vise. I love it dearly. And the first thing you want to do is go ahead and put some kind of level on there. This is the October Mountain string level, and it's just going to show me if I need to micro tune it forward or backwards. I need to come forward just a little bit. Nah, too far back. All right, we're good right there. So now I know that my bow is level straight up and down. Oh, might need an arrow rest. Let me throw that on real quick. Threw the Whiskey Biscuit on there for fits and giggles. If you got a QAD, obviously you're going to want it in the upright lock position. If you have a limb-driven rest, you're going to want to make sure there's slack in your activation cable so it's in the upright position, because obviously that's what we're trying to level out. What was that? Gravity. Obviously what we're trying to level out with our arrow is when we're in the ready to shoot position at full draw. So obviously I've already got it set in my rest. I got some slack. It's going to slide to the top. No big deal. We're about to fix that. And apparently I'm out of gas station lighters, so I'm going to use this old fire lighter right here. But first thing you're going to want to do is cut off about 6.5 inches of your D-loop material. This is number 24, and I get this direct from BCY. It's great material. It's what I use or have been using for years. I don't have any complaints, so I'm going to keep using it. Once you've obviously cut off your D-loop material, you want to take your lighter or something like that and flare out one end of it. You want it nice and floofy, and I'm about to show you why. It's about what we're looking for right there, folks. Then you're going to take your lighter and use the blue part of the flame and run it back and forth, shrinking down that mushroom that we just created. And if it catches on fire, don't worry, just blow it out. It's not going to hurt anything. Basically, all you're doing is melting it down to a nice little ball, and you actually want it rounded off. I'm actually twisting the D-loop as I go back and forth with the lighter to make sure it's getting evenly melted on all ends. Good to go. That's basically what we're looking for right there. And after about 10-15 seconds, it'll dry. Just tap it to make sure, yep, it's hardened. Good to go. First thing you're going to want to do is take the burnt end of your D-loop, have it closest to the end of the serving up here. So you want that on the high end, so to speak. And we're going to leave our tag in long and closest to our nocking point. So all you're going to do is make a horseshoe, so to speak, and bring it to the opposite side of the string. And the first thing I like to do is take my burn end and run it through, just like that. This is way easier to do when I'm going fast paced, but so this is where we're at right now. We've already ran our burnt through in through the loop. Now we're going to take our tag in and do the same thing right up underneath it. Pull it, rotate it out, just tighten it down just a little bit, just enough to where it actually holds the arrow in place. Now from here, we can adjust our arrow up, or we can push the loop down on top of the nock and bring it down. It needs to be right about there. I'm not going to level the arrow out. I'm just going to look through the burger holes, but that's where it needs to be for this particular rest and arrow, bow setup. And then from there, we're going to cinch. We're going to pull it tight to where now, unless we really want it to move, it's not going to go anywhere. So from here, we're going to take our tag in and come around and through. And that's what we should end up with right there. I'm going to do it again. Tag end, around, and through. Right there. This is the start of our actual D-loop. Now, got our tag in. I'm going to go back around the other way and through. Just like that. Now from here, I'm just going to take our tag in and cinch it down a little bit. Make sure you leave a little bit of slack. Actually, that's probably a little tight. I'm going to loosen up just a little bit. You want to make sure you have a little slack so you don't have knock pinch. So you want a little bit of room between the D-loop and your actual knock. From here, if you got a razor blade, you can use that, but I got some really good scissors. I'm just going to cut off about that much. Now we're going to get rid of our arrow because we're about to burn that end of the D-loop, and we don't want fire anywhere near our plastic knock. So once again, just taking a part of our lighter and flaring it out. Now, when you're doing this and pushing against this side of your tag end, you notice my fingers on the opposite side. What I'm doing is making sure I'm not pushing the actual D-loop back through the knot. We don't want it to move. And if it does push through a little bit, you can pull it like I just did because I took my finger off. And now we want to make sure our actual D-loop that we're going to be hooking onto our release is nowhere near the flame. And we're just going to burn it down. This is way easier with a cigarette lighter. Make sure that's nice and dry. It is. Rotate our D-loop back around. Now we're going to need our D-loop pliers. So these are just the Easton D-loop pliers. These work great. If you got just regular needle nose, you can use those as well. But I'm going to take these 2 tabs, oops, push them in there, and I'm going to cinch down just a little bit. I'm not going to cinch it all the way yet because I've got a gap here, and I probably got a gap on the other side. So I'm going to take these pliers and actually pinch that knot together there and on the other side. Then I'm going to really get on it. And of course, if you're going to go with knocking points on your rig, you would tie those on first and then do the D-loop, which is the exact same process. There's nothing you would change, versus knocking points and no knocking points.